What's up, Spikelings? The stream's only source of entertainment, Esther here, welcoming you back to the Shark Typhoon. Today, we're changing things up with actual jokes and some real joy in the stream. So sit back, relax, and get ready to have fun for a change.
Of games is worth just playing the green source in the sideboard. My current thinking. Maybe more than 80%. Let's keep this, put back at Thundering Falls. I think the Rhinos matchup's been pretty good. Phantasm's just so big. Let's see Meyer Basic Mountain. Monastery Swift Spear. Uh-oh. I guess the Burn versus Murktide matchup is usually pretty good. It's probably the dynamic is probably not super duper different. I want to be able to spell Pierce Rolling Vortex, so it's not that shock bolt the Swift Spear main phase. I can even just get like Surveil land into like bolts and take less damage because I took one of the Swift Spear instead of two off the shock. If they Boros Charm, what do you do? Fetch Shock, Bolt or Spell Pierce? Helix. Yeah, I'll just shock. We'll just bolt this Swift Spear here. I'm down to 13. Guess I'm happy I just added that second Flusterstorm. Use Counterspell here. Three cards in their hand. Force Charm. Down to 8. Pass back. The spins a Rift Bolt, plays an untapped Sacred Foundry, and passes. So they have Lightning Bolt and they're playing around Spell Pierce. Can mean literally nothing else. I'm going to counterspell the Rift Bolt. I think that they do have Lightning Bolt in their hand. The matchup with Ragavan's better. Okay. The Boros Charm off the top, maybe? So I block, then they bolt me. I just have to not be dead to a top deck burn spell in this spot, I think. Pretty tough game. Hopefully they cast Skewer. Rift Bolt. The spins the Rift Bolts. Playing very hard around Spell Pierce, huh? Ah, punish for playing the Strand. Not that holding up this Pierce is gonna... They're playing so hard around it, I'm just gonna put it back here. Then to top deck the burn. Did we lose the die roll? Yeah, I did lose the die roll. I didn't draw a burn spell though. Let's go try to iterate into a counterspell potentially. Go Ledger Shredder. I only have 2 counterspells left in the deck anyways. Then to Rolling Vortex, they're the Searing Blaze with no land drop, although their last card is probably a land. Tapped Inspiring Vantage. Wow, we get to untap again. I'm gonna go Channeler, Consider, and hope to like find Counterspell or potentially be able to attack with the Phantasm. Consider's so tough here because if I find Counterspell, it's I think I just Graveyard because if I can find Counterspell, I'm probably gonna be able to win. I could probably attack with this if I can't anyways. Let's keep this since this lets me attack with the Phantasm and is 2 extra looks at Counterspell. Graveyard this, and then I'll look and see if my top card is. Sorry for saying Counterspell so much, but see if it's Counterspell. It is. So we're not going to cast Iteration. Hopefully we didn't get super slow rolled. No, I don't think the Surveil lands are going to burn. It's just you're too slow if you have tap lands. You're not going to be able to like win games. Man, they didn't even draw the burn spell. Manifesting like a motor bug. Yeah, it's very. I have like 6 or 7 looks. Okay, Flusterstorm. Pick your poison against Rolling Vortex is kind of interesting, but we have Spell Pierce, and I'm not gonna like put shock lands in my deck post board. You know what I mean? 21 tap lands against burn. We're talking about in burn. What do you mean against burn? Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna win that either. Yeah, more painful mana base compared to Murktide. Definitely tough. I don't think you want to play Subtlety in this matchup. No. Surveil, yeah, it's Surveillance and Prowess also, I think, just so tough. Playing Phantasm and Prowess sounds super juicy, I agree. Iteration mid. I agree that Iteration's not very good. I think I would prefer to have... Sorry, just thinking, but... Iteration over Breach, though. If I hold Bauble, it's really bad against Rolling Vortex and Eidolon. But I think I'm just going to probably telegraph my play a little too hard. But I think I'm just gonna not play around those cards here. And then I guess is it better to go Channeler, Phantasm, Bauble, or Ledger Shredder, Bauble? I'm at 10. They have 3 cards. I think with second Channeler. Let's go for this. Give a Counterspell. Goblin Guide. So we got a nice to have a 1 mana 3/3 against Goblin Guide here. Okay, weird. Maybe I think they were trying to cast like Helix or something and then realized they couldn't. I don't know what that seemed like. Let's play Channeler, consider. Go shields down for this turn. Seems safe. Graveyard. We have Delirium. We already have a Counterspell in our hand. I'm gonna graveyard. Kind of would like to hit a land this turn. That's a good land to hit. Keep Channelers. Probably not that necessary. Attack for 10. How big is Phantasm normally? This is a somewhat normal game for it, to be honest. Maybe a little bit above average. We had like a 20/20 earlier. It gets really big really fast, and then continues to get big like every turn. So it's hard to say how big it is normally. 75k. I have not selected my deck yet. And I'm leaving on Thursday. I actually don't know what Decklist submissions do actually. I'm just gonna play the standard 75k and then hang out afterwards. Why no Murktide? I think Breach is better than Murktide in this build. It's because you have Phantasm as your big beefy boy, and it also plays. You go kind of crazy with Breach. We had Murktide in our first draft, and then someone suggested Breach instead, or I don't exactly remember the dialogue tree or whatever, but we did realize that this was probably the better plan. Just gonna kind of play. Yeah, at the moment that's my plan, Doom. Also, can you send me an updated 75 or exact 75 if you haven't already? It could still be Rhinos, but probably Blue Red Murktide. Yeah, I might play Blue White Control though, because that deck looks like it kind of can't lose to anything. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so no stream Friday. I think I'm still streaming Thursday. I need to double check what time my flight leaves. It's likely a shorter stream. For what? For I don't know. I'll tell you later. I thought you would know. Surveillance can make Nahiri into Emrakul and her cat combo more effective. Nah. I don't know. Like, I mean, Surveillance, you would play them in those decks, but like they're not like particularly big buffs to those archetypes, I would think. Those archetypes are just kind of underpowered, and Surveillance are just kind of good, so like it's not like Thoughtbound Phantasm where Surveillance matter a ton. You know what I mean? Most expensive card you get assigned? I generally just refuse to sign reserve list cards, but I'd sign an Underground Sea. Play Control on the NRG yesterday. Yeah, it's like I've played 0 games of Standard, so playing a Control deck's kind of dicey. But I also have played tons of Control in my life and in Standard, and it doesn't look too tough. I think I keep the extra Channeler with this Breach in my hand. It's kind of close. Parsing Blue Eyes to play fast. Yeah, I agree, and then that's also like one of my big strengths as a gamer, I think. Hard you sign the most? Probably Jade Avenger, maybe. Signed a lot of Asmos, a lot of Shark Typhoon, a lot of Ledger Shredders. Signed some Goloses recently. I don't think I'm supposed to like bait Lightning Bolts. How could they ever fall for it? I'm gonna untap and bolt on their turn. I've signed some Lava Spikes too. I've signed Demi-Liches. Maybe Disrex. Probably less than 8. More than 10. I think with the Channeler, I'm going to keep it. If I draw Bauble, I could have an insane turn. Putting back Iteration feels weird, but like the Breach is better. Is it splashing pick your poison field? No brainer. It's felt pretty good. It's been really important against Scion. It's important. It's just like it's also like good in the Izzet mirrors, where all of a sudden you just have like a ton of answers for their Murktides and they don't. Although maybe okay, no Murktide this turn is nice. Okay, so let's just play creatures this turn. Some cards I would keep over the Phantasm at this point. Scared of another removal spell. Shaka, 31 months. We have the full 8 red removal spells. We just haven't drawn any in our top 15. Yeah, let's keep this Spell Pierce up this turn. They could definitely just start this turn with Iteration, super duper easy. Go play blue. I think you need 4-seed Shark. Yeah, I was gonna play a 4-seed Shark. Send me what blue-white list you'd play. I'm also gonna DM like if other people want to ask. But... yeah, I would definitely want to be teched for the mirror. Nice that they played into this, huh? Looking for a Bauble pretty badly. One thing is if they Spell Pierce back also, then we could maybe like just get eat their Channeler with our Shredder. Or I think I'm wild for discarding this Breach. If you play blue, I can't help you there. Fair. Still no removal spells in the top 17. We can find some soon. We get a Surveil also still. And we get to chomp up this Channeler unless they go land Heat off their Iteration. Just graveyard this, just keep the... We can cast Considers off the Breach if we need to. The Kraken is the blue-white mirror breaker? Okay. I considered a land destruction package in mill. I don't know. They flip a Bauble here. Yeah, just the man. You just like get to play Mana Leak if you play blue white. It's kind of wild. They probably should have attacked. Oh, they want to eat up my Channeler. Dumb. Okay. Ledger Shredder's so back, dude. Got 11 cards in our graveyard. I would love a Bauble so I can go like Phantasm, second Channeler Bauble, make a crazy big Phantasm. Counterspell's pretty interesting. If we're gonna cast this. Graveyard. So I think I just consider first. I'd like to find Unholy Heat for the Ledger Shredder, potentially. Should keep that because it's just like an extra cast. So close. I think I just have to graveyard. I need to find an Unholy Heat or Bauble so badly for this turn to be maximum power level. So I have another Thoughtbound Phantasm. Can just do like this, kind of easy. Missing again. Okay. I was about to say no Baubles or Heats in the top 27 cards would have been unfortunate. And it is kind of unfortunate that we if we don't find like Bauble off this, although we'll take this iteration, we'll be okay. A Bauble in top 27 would have been. Only one Underworld Breach left in our deck, right? Heat into Murktide. Heat into Bolt. They got 3 cards in the hand. We get to cast. We're also way up on mana, which is nice. Oh, Bolt Gem. Turnpike. Fortitude, so cool. Ooh, Disruption Protocol with the Deuce. Wow, that is so sick. Is that new? Did they figure this out, or am I just? I haven't been paying very attention. I know I have this big tournament coming up. That seems so cool, though. This looks great. Shout out. John Gallagher. Amazing technology. Okay, gonna wait until they tap out for these both bolts. Try to bait them to counterspell the heat there. Maybe a little bit too obvious with the main phase, I don't know. They're only on 3 lands, so, and like all of their impactful spells cost 2 mana for the most part. It'll be very tough for them to play around my exact hand being Bolt, although they start to. Yeah, but certainly have a counterspell in their hand. So if I draw a counterspell, it's over. If I draw Spell Pierce, if I draw... Wow. The funniest top deck possible, the 4th copy of Lightning Bolt. Surely they're supposed to counterspell the first one here, because it's so obvious I have second, but... Always doing this. My hand, 3 Lightning Bolts. Yeah, so they are on Shredder. But I think I'm gonna do 1 Bolt, 4 Heat, 4 Pick Your Poison. Land removal spells is probably an okay number. And then... So Pierce is better than Flusterstorm against exactly... It can counter Bauble occasionally, very rarely, and also can counter, like, Curse. But Flusterstorm just doesn't get super dead in the late game. I think I'm gonna do 2-1 and play just 3 Bauble. I know I was dying to draw Bauble that game. Maybe we'll just cut the Swampers does get really dead. Also mentioned Sean jumped 1 game, the Swiss 2-0ing, 1-0ing every other match. Go Sean, go. I like that he's not playing Sunken Citadel. I'm a big Sunken Citadel fan, but I just don't feel like it looked that good in the other lists. Also, why does everybody only play 3 Get Lost? Like, I'd be tempted to play 4, but I'm not going to try to mess with the formula too much. This list looks great. Probably will play 4 Seed Sharks. On the draw against Murktide. Have to mulligan, I think. They're also on a mulligan. Keep by our 7. Or sorry, 6. Yeah, 1-0ing is funny. Cunning Breach is fine. Cunning Breach is fine, but you do really, like... I don't know, you really want to be slamming them and, like, have a second if they counterspell your first. What did a Mirrex over a Darkrai Waste? Okay. Hopefully we'll remember that. But I like the sound of that too, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna lock in blue-white, probably. Probably change my mind also, like I always do. Seed Sharks didn't say on the set out removal. Yeah, but they also like know you're on Seed Sharks, so I don't know. Oh, you're talking about for other decks. I was just thinking about them here. Yeah, and like Mingu's at the energy did seem like it was super stacked. Excited to see Mingu. My annual Mingu hangout. I guess I saw him twice last year, actually. What's up? Alright, one more time. Semi-annual Mingu hangout. It is really nice here, though. I mean, we're just like not scared of Murktide at all, so we can tap out for Channeler kind of easy. Yeah, Mingu got 9, sadly. I was following along. Love that they heated my Channeler and I got to consider in response. Get Delirium. They really shouldn't. They really shouldn't do that, but I would love it. He's 5/5 flying. ETB investigate twice. Second artifact. Gains hexproof. That seems good. I guess I should probably have responded to the Channeler by fetching or considering. I guess just fetching. You got 3 cards in their hand. Countering an Expressive Iteration would be very choice here. I guess I actually pick your poison over heat. You can get kind of gummed up in your hand, and I think playing around a Ragavan is a lot more relevant than playing against a Murktide when they only have 1 instant or sorcery in their yard. Mulliganing on the 3. The most insane stream time I've ever seen. Hopefully we can up the ante as we go this year. 4 cards in their hand, 4 cards in my hand. Cast a Thoughtbound Phantasm. They're casting at the moment a 5/5 Murktide. I'll just counterspell this so I can trade, so I don't just blank this 2 mana because I can't heat. I can't let it resolve in heat, then let them counter the heat. What matchups Phantasm and Ragavan? I think it's like every matchup besides Burntron Living End. I think it's better in this matchup, better against Scam, better against. I think it's like Titan's kind of weird because if they don't have Grazer, Ragavan's better. If they do have Grazer, Phantasm's better. Better against Yawgmoth, better against Rhinos. Most of them. If I draw a land, do I discard an iteration to get this out of Bolt range? Okay, don't need to worry about that. Good chance they have second Murktide if they deploy the first Murktide as a 5/5. Thank for sharing our first time ever Magicon. Just play Sentiment's experience and any tips for beginner. Usually have a few things I could rattle off. Don't know why I'm kind of blanking here. I don't have fun, prioritize spending time with friends more than doing well in games or anything like that. I feel like the memories you form with your friends ends up becoming your most precious things to take away from these events. For tournament play, which is usually what people ask more than just general going for fun advice stuff. But for tournament play, drink a lot of water, so much water. If you're not peeing between every round, you're not drinking enough. But it's down to 1 card in hand, 14 life. I feel like the fact that we're on the pick your poison just give us such an edge in this matchup. I feel it's just like we have it's just so much easier for us to tap out for stuff, and the things that they're tapping out for are just not as scary. We can play around Spell Pierce a little bit, but not too. So I'm gonna actually prioritize. Well, I guess I just have 2. I just because I have 2. I'll still have a target for lightning bolts. So never mind. I was thinking I wanted to get this up to 4 toughness, which is usually pretty important on Shredder. A little bit less important now. Is it hot in the venue, or do you need that much water? In order to maximize your brain function and your ability to decision make, you need to be super hydrated. You need to be super hydrated to maximize your ability to make good decisions in any area of life. No, this goes for test taking. This goes for work. I don't know. Just if you gotta make a lot of decisions, you gotta be super hydrated. You gotta be super hydrated and strong. I know it looks so weird to put in your deck. I I know it is such an odd card to see, but it's just a 1 mana 2/2 that gets really big really fast. And it doesn't come at the cost of putting shitty cards in your deck like Otherworldly Gaze. Interesting. I have a Valakut Brew that we may not get to today. But I would like to get to at some point. A little greedy here, I think, play the Phantasm. It's kind of tough for the tap land to be on top because I don't have Counterspell up next turn anyways. And so, I could probably, off my Bauble, draw step and consider find another land for next turn. No way. I've been trying to find the way Surveil is making bad cards playable now. No way. I've been trying to find the way Surveil is making bad cards playable now. Cards, or is it literally just Thoughtbound Phantasm? Thoughtbound Phantasm is a good card in a deck that has 3 Surveil lands, 10 fetchables for it, 4 Dragon Rage's Channeler, 4 Consider to Surveil. It just with this is a combination that makes Thoughtbound Phantasm a good card in your deck. And so this comes at the cost, and this doesn't come at the cost of including Otherworldly Gaze or a lot of these less powerful effects that people have been suggesting. They kind of have to keep this. They seem to be stumbling. Hopefully, they stumble a little bit more. If this was a Ragavan, I guess if this was a Ragavan, it would have been pinged by Red and 6 blocked by Grazer. But neither would have been super good this game, to be honest. But when you're playing a card like this, it just checks all the boxes. It's a 1 mana creature that doesn't die to Bowmasters in a format that cares about being bigger than Scion of Draco and Rhino tokens. It works with your good cards in the deck. Consider Dragon Rage's Channeler, cards you already want to play. You want to play 1 or 2 of the Surveil lands anyways. We're playing one and a half more Surveil lands than we would play in this archetype anyways, as the cost of including this, and it's just been really nice, I feel. They don't have the One Ring in their hand, so I think I'm just gonna slam Iteration, I suppose. They have Reprieve. Okay, next punished. More Surveil support is making a bunch of cards look better. I mean, is there any card that looks better than Phantasm? I think Dimir, Spybug, and Disinformation Campaign are the only other legal ones, but I don't really like either of those. There have been some games you want 4. I think 3 is the right number in this deck. It's kind of close. I'm just gonna lose to Natural Valak at this game. It isn't how many Surveillance you played Wizards. 2 probably. Hopefully don't get reprieved again. We also kind of have to counter spell for Titan. I guess I'll just Shredder Bauble now. Reprieved out of the game. See a Titan on top to concede, maybe? Cinderglade. I think Disinformation Campaign is just not playable, but it's something we've thought about. They have Ren in 6 Ultimate. I'll back it up to the ring. Oh, we cut the Blood Moons from the sideboard too. A little punished for that, I guess. We're bringing Needle. Flusterstorm seems kind of nice against their deck, probably. I mean, Spell Pierce is very good too, but they're a Reprieve deck that probably has Wish. They have Scape Shifts. They have a good number of targets. I don't think I'm bringing in Pick Your Poison for the ring. There's a good chance they're not even on any Titans, so I don't think we play Subtlety. I think we just go down to like 1 Unholy Heat. He can still kill Ren. Kill random Titan if we run into it. Although maybe I'll just play the 19th land over the Heat. Or I could do 1 Heat, 3 Bolts. For any chance for Poison. They don't necessarily play Dryad. They might have some Dryads. I guess I should probably play 2 Heat, so I'm not as cold to Dryad. Energy Decklist for Blue Black Ramp. I have not seen it. If you link it, I'll take a look though. How was Hammer version with Code played? I think we're like 2-2 in matches, but Code. I think if you're gonna play Hammer, you should definitely play 2 codes. Okay, you should definitely play 1. I would play 2. You should 100% play 1. I think it's like in my mind, Hammer is now stock or Code is now stock in Hammer. I think Hammer is still not a very good deck, but I have seen a lot of people online trophying with Coat, despite Hammer not being very good. Yeah, would you play 1 or 2 Coats, Elk? First Coat is great. Play a gift over the second one. Yeah, I think playing a gift over the second Coat makes a lot of sense. You just get it with the gift. Spotbug and Stalker are 3 annoying little beaters. Yeah, they're just X1s. You know what I mean? Opponent finishes sideboarding. Lander. We did board up a land this time. Reluctantly. Bubble myself so I know if I want to consider now or not. So not going to. Gonna have to give Phantasm a shot myself. I was trying to find a non-Green for the deck. Yeah, I think the card is super good in this archetype. Just kind of good in general. Let's graveyard that. Guess I boarded in these Flusterstorms, huh? Scared of Ren and 6. Yeah, I think they're gonna have a heavy play booth at Chicago. I think I had a light chat with them about it. They wanted me to come say hi to them. What would I do if they path to exile me? Like this is like the deck that plays it sometimes. I try the Electrolyte Drink Prime. Isn't there's something chemically wrong with it? Is something I heard. Like there's either they do something to compensate for no sugar. That's like it's like too many electrolytes or. I can't remember what like is chemically wrong, but I've heard that there's something like about it not being good for you. I don't know anything. I didn't graduate college. Guess I should play my land first to play around Bolt, huh? Rewarded again. I would maximize my chance of finding Counterspell too. That's fake sugar. Yeah, I don't know something. Can't remember. But I also just don't like energy drinks in general. Maybe Pedialyte is one, but a lot better for you. My opponent's gonna cast a Wish right now. Dramatic Ending. I guess what I don't like about Flusterstorming is if my opponent does have Bolt somehow, they could Bolt after I Flusterstorm here. But I feel like this Flusterstorm is better to have in my hand than the Heat, and I can either double Flusterstorm or I can Heat plus Flusterstorm. Top Stomping Ground. And they have the bolts, so punted. But they didn't bolt like last turn, so it felt like it wasn't something I should probably be playing around. As a rule, I avoid things that 12-year-olds are really into. That's a pretty good rule, probably. Dwarven Mine. So, like, unless we draw a breach soon, I feel our chances diminishing. Probably gonna try to connive Phantasm away if my opponent, like, wishes into something. I really don't have 4 Thundering Falls. So if I do draw a breach, I can bolt them 3 times. Not quite enough. Gonna slam a Titan. Slam a Ring. Thinking about not tapping it, or... If we envision some paths to victory, they all involve like breaching them this turn or next turn. Better than Murktide here. Yikes. Hard to imagine it's super relevant to attack this turn once. Although I guess this land does let me. This land does let me breach 4 times, right? I have 13 cards in my yard. Yeah. Yeah, they probably have reprieve. That's a problem. My whole breach them plan. One definitely thinks I have a counterspell in my hand. I'm surprised they're thinking this long without just tapping their ring first, but trying to make sure they're not losing a game where they're super ahead. Yeah, I kind of mana screw into mana flood, huh? Decided to start off with an attack for 1. Do you mind grabbing Lucy? Lucy just got a bath. She's worming all over the place. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I don't really. I know the card says the word Surveil on it. Lizzie, 30 months. Think we'll come back. But I'll be very unhappy if I spend 3 mana to cast it at any time, and like it doesn't really have much synergy with Thoughtbound Phantasm either. Another breach, not too good. Up against rhinos. If it like surveilled while it was in the graveyard, it could be good, but doesn't do that. Oh yeah, Bizarre Baghdad. I've seen Caleb D draft some very cool Master of Death decks. A bit scared of Tidebinder. Not sure if this is stock. Probably less likely to be stock rhinos if they lead on the forest here. Or sorry, less likely to be rainbow rhinos. I guess I can just get a Surveil land end of turn after they crack their fetch for their Surveil land. Beat rhinos last time we played it. That I guess. We did play against Rainbow last time. Last time we played against Rainbow Rhinos. I'm not sure if we're better in that matchup because we have all these picker poisons. Misty is anywhere from April to June. I mean, I would be really surprised if it's in April, but quarter 2. It is weird they haven't like announced a release date, or if they have, I don't have it. This team runners off Fire Ice can use Surveillance. I've seen some people cutting the 4th Fire Ice. To me, that's deranged. Like Fire Ice is just so absurd in your deck. Just good in general, but I've seen some people trim 1. It should be May June because Outlaws is 19th April. That makes sense to me. So I'm drawing Counterspell. I think I'm not going to Counterspell or hold up Counterspell this turn. I'm going to try to save it for this copy of Crashing Footfalls. I'm going to iterate instead. We also just go hand, bottom, exile. Play around Tidebinder, get a Steam Vents untapped main phase. Probably just bolt the agent and tap out. If they do Rhinos me, I have a Heat for Rhinos, or one of the 2 Rhinos. That's kind of maybe looking about what an iteration there. They don't have the extra Cascade spell, it looks like. Draw another Underworld Breach. I could use a Breach as a draw 2 here. Kind of weird because I have the Heat in my hand, but I'll still have Artifact Enchantment and my Artifact Enchantment instance. I think I kind of got to unclog my hand a little bit. Like Breach, draw 2, Counterspell, untap Iteration, build the yard again. Also, if they end up Force of Negationing this, it's pretty good. So they're drawing a copy of Crashing Footfalls. They did. It seemed like they thought about Force of Negationing me here, so there's a good chance that they'll like force my Counterspell, I guess. Doesn't seem like there's much point in cracking this bubble now, since I'm just gonna use my mana to Counterspell this Crashing Footfalls. Better Force of Negation the first Bauble if they wanted to. I mean, you can get punished by like Bauble in hand, but yeah, maybe. Oh, weird. I'm like very surprised my opponent didn't cast that on their turn. I guess if they have Force of Negation up, it would make sense, which would be bad for me. Tank, Force of Negation. Opponent, please don't think about Force of Negation this long. Come on, dude. They did have Tidebinder. Played around it. And the Counterspell being exiled is tough. Yeah, I never think about pitching Tidebinder versus the other blue card, but just still, it just took so long for that decision. But obviously, like their other blue card must be like Flame of Anor. You know what I mean? Like Fire Ice next turn. Should be pretty dead. I don't even know like what series of draws we could have here. Matchup gets a lot better post board, I think. We added the extra Flusterstorm too. Go Shredder, Heat, try to get Delirium, draw another Heat. Only in Shredder into Heat is not even enough because I'm still dying to right. And they have Fire Ice. And a relevant card in their hand. Yeah, another Force of Negation makes sense. Alright, Storm, explosives over the 4 bolts. This might be it. Against the Tidebinder build, I could see wanting some subtleties. They'll also be bringing in Endurance. They should have some Murktides. I think 1 subtlety over 4th Heat is okay. And then, what would I do? I could kind of Bauble, since I have more artifacts here. Oh, I just needed 1 more card anyways. I want 4th Heat. I'm gonna play the 4th Bauble. Oh, I cut 2 heats on accident. Okay. Thank you. Good catch. I definitely went the third one. Who brings in Subtlety? Yeah. I think at the moment I'm bringing in against Teamer and not Rainbow Rhinos. I'm bringing in Pick Your Poison against Rainbow Rhinos. Okay, on to play. Video on Phantasm here. Can I plug my mic? Okay. Fine. They're on a mulligan to 6. And the tank, about their 6-card hand. It's okay. We love a thoughtful Rhino player. Yeah, this Consider Art's the best one by a lot, I think. Saruman. If I draw like a Steam Vents. If I draw an untapped land, I think I'm just casting Shredder next turn. Although getting Phantasm out of Fire Ice range is nice. When it is reading, I don't think we cast this card game 1. But they say gas. 51, 20 months, thank you, welcome back. White Splasher, Black Splasher Swords. Oh yeah, definitely. Don't draw the land, unfortunately. Get 2 more looks at the Bauble. We have to consider next turn. It'll be one of those games. Graveyard of Dead gone. Can't get my Phantasm. Little low in the deck, but we'll take it. Just trying to think, what are we doing next turn? I can guess consider get a Surveil and attack for 5. And if they Rhinos me, it's not so bad because I have a 5/5. Although I could also kind of in the same vein just cast Shredder next turn, and that would also be good insulation against Rhinos. But I think I should do one of those 2 things instead of hold up Counterspell. Although if my opponent ices my island here, then I'll definitely consider response. It didn't do that. Yeah, also with Heat. Let's get the Shredder down. Like the Shredder's a lot worse if they're not like triggering that Cascade for you first. We'll be able, if they go like Charlotte's Agent, Shredder becomes a 2/4. Then we go Consider Heat. We have a 4/4 and a 3/4. If we can find a Surveil land, 5/5 Thoughtbound Phantasm. Or my opponent will tank Dispute the Shredder. Takes a Thundering Falls, so they probably have a land in their hand, right? Goes to their second main phase. Goes to their instep, passes the turn. Keep this on top. I'm gonna attack. We have Spell Pierce up. If they have Force Mitigation plus Violent Outburst, it is what it is. I think. Yeah, they mulliganed. We know one of their cards is not a Force Mitigation or a blue card. Okay, worked out this time. Obviously, always very nice to have a 5/5 against Rhinos too. They played a Thundering Fall, so now no known cards in their hand. A Tidebinder in their graveyard. Spins of Footfalls, so nice to know that they're not cascading this turn. They're also not playing Murktide this turn. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna put him on a 2-turn clock here. Tapping out of Counterspell, but I don't think there's a ton I'm like super afraid of that I would need to counter with 2 heats in my hand. I have ice, okay. Is Modern Devotion still in my mind? I tested a lot last week. Archrune's Charm's on my mind. I really would like to play another Archrune's Charm deck this week. I thought that Archdruid's Charm was very good in both the Modern and the Pioneer Devotion deck. I think it shined more in the Pioneer build. I think that Leyline is just like, I don't know. It's a very inconsistent card in a deck that's already very inconsistent. It's not like Domain Zoo where just kind of like all your cards are good if you don't have like this one thing. If you don't have a, I don't know, I keep losing my train of thought. If you don't have like the deck is just so in on like Leyline and Nykthos where Domains they just have like almost all their other hands are keepable and they have more card selection. It's a little bit of a different formula. Okay, going to game 3. Archer's Charm is good as a lot of, but just with a lot of mana turn 2, for example. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more of a, like, Devotion is just more of a Pioneer deck. I think Archer's Charm was awesome in the Pioneer Devotion deck. Would definitely just like play the last Devotion list I played with Oath of Nissa over the Leyline. Charm with Lotus Field and World Souls Rage. Yeah, I've been thinking about World Souls Rage too. Hopefully we can get to something along these lines. I'm gonna keep this hand. It's nice that you can keep this hand with like out interaction for Rhinos. Well, you keep this hand, I guess, if Phantasm was Ragavan, but this Phantasm is just gonna get big real fast. Run a mulligan to 6 again. My intention is to go Phantasm into Channeler. Consider try to hit a Bauble, attack for 5 on turn 2. Or you're playing Scion with Leyline in the Devotion deck, so you can tutor for Scion. It's kind of fun. Kind of fun. Will we get to above 10 minutes on clock this game? We'll see. More likely do you get Dead God of Fire if you play turn 1? Yeah. So is the play then to play Channeler turn 1? Yeah, I guess we should play Channeler turn 1. We're not super happy if it dies, but then we can just go like Phantasm plus Surveil land into like Consider Surveil land to get up to 5/5, which I think matters the most. The spins of Crashing Footfalls. Five cards in their hand. I'm gonna try to stop reading so much into their tanks. Yeah, but not much to read into here. They killed the Channeler like we had hoped they wouldn't, but what we planned for. Drawing 2 lands with this hand makes me feel pretty upset, though. I think we can surveil another one into the yard. And thankfully this is out of dead range, out of fire range, and you can get up to 5/5 to block some Rhinos next turn. We don't do paid dono decks, don't do paid dono leagues, Boke. Thank you for asking them. Is it a mistake to not play Ledger Shredder this turn? Probably, yeah. I think taking 8 obviously feels tough, but just being able to loot away one of these lands is so good, I think. But those are coming down too. Yeah, I think I'm going to take 8. If they have another Cascade spell, we can try to hit explosives, but if they don't, we can try to stabilize. They also have Rhinos coming down next turn. Opponent, please. You have 2 cards. They have a Murktide in their hand, I think. They have to crack their fetch first. UT26, thank you, welcome back. Luzco, 21 months, thank you, welcome back. Able to Graveyard Flame of Anor to make the Murktide a 6/6 instead of a 5/5. Yeah, Lost League was also this deck. Not exactly on time, Subtlety. Oh, I drew Unholy Heat. Well, that's a good draw. I think I'm still going to go discard Misty. Chump block the Murktide with Shredder this turn. Take 4 from Rhinos here. Assuming they tech with everything, I'm going to eat a Rhino, block Shardless Agent, Chump Murktide, take 4. You think the 4-color version of Rhino is better than Temur? That's kind of the big question, huh? I'm not sure, is my big answer. It's, this is, Temur's more consistent. So, and the Rainbow one is more powerful, so that's what you have to weigh. Okay, so block. You have set they have Violent Outburst. At least this will take forever. 5, win for 3-2, 4-1 last league. Keep this. Why not land on bottom and counterspell off handoff iteration? Do you have more cards in hand? The way I played this was way better, because I got to have a 3-3 to block the agent, a 5-5 to block the Rhino. And then I got to... where your line is like... Okay, they're playing scales again. Your line wants to do what with the counterspell? Counterspell the Rhinos, and they have no good blocks against a gigantic board here. Bolt the Hangerbeck Walker. Bit weird. Like, my line was obviously bad against Violent Outburst, but I was in pretty good shape even against the Rhinos that were coming down, I felt. But the Violent Outburst, the +1, just like it just killing all of my creatures and putting 2 more Rhinos in play can't be beat. Everything's the same, just 1 less land. Land on bottom, counterspell of hand, have to have more cards in hand. So you want to have counterspell in hand and you want to fetch the Surveil land into play. Maybe that was better. Our life total is kind of precarious, but maybe that was better. I think about draw Channeler. I'm going to play Channeler, Phantasm. Yeah, no, that seems okay. The 1 life matters, and we also have, like, Connive happening. Maybe it was better. Getting flooded a lot today. Keep the Phantasm. Okay, play for the DRC, then we can try to surveil into something off of our fetch land to juice up the Phantasm with the Channeler. I would love to get to Spell Pierce a Cauldron this turn. Heals does usually main deck a Needle these days. I'm gonna go ahead and surveil now. So if we could draw Iteration, consider, take a Bauble, take Unholy Heat, Underworld Breach. Underworld Breach would be the best draw by a lot. They get Springleaf Drum, so hopefully they're playing a non-creature like Hardened Scales or Cauldron. Or the Ozolith. Taking 5 down to 10. Only Phantasm should really fly, dude. Draw land. So many good top decks here is what it is. Been flooding a lot today. explosives, Cursed Totem, Breeding Pool for the pick your poison. I think the matchup is also pretty bad game one, so if there's a game we're gonna flood out, we want it to be game one. I'm down to 2 heats? 2 or 1. I think I trimmed a Breach last time. Trimmed a Bauble. Trimmed a Counterspell, 1 heat. I think maybe I went to no heats. I think I went to no heats, yeah. Because it's just when you have Bolt, Pick Your Poison, Scolding, Explosives as a removal. He's just the worst one, I think. Maybe Heat's better than Bolts. I feel like we end up bolting them a lot of the time. I guess Heat can clean up like constructs and well enough compared to Bolt that we'll try this over. I think we just want 4 red removal spells. We could do like 3 wands. We could like potentially reach the Bolt too. Interesting hand. Yeah, you should have some counter spells against them. I think 3 is a good number. It's on a mull to 5. I'm gonna fetch Breeding Pool turn 1. Thinking about their mull to 5. Mull to 5 with Gemstone Caverns is interesting. Pitching a basic forest. Surprised it stayed on the hand. They only have 3 cards in their hand now. Like I almost would have rather just had the forest. Maybe I guess if they have Urza Saga, okay, they don't seem to have Saga. With no turn 1 play. How do you have no turn 1 play in Scales? They didn't play anything last turn. I'm going to cast the Shredder. They may have something this turn, but might be okay. You have Dismember? You have Dismember. Shout out to Gemstone Caverns. 3 cards in their hand. With Hammer being mad right now, do you think Affinity has a chance? Play Hammer! Oh, sorry, play Scales. Play Scales. Don't play Affinity, play Scales. The entire deck's 1 and 2 drops. Which about in regards to being flooded, or just Scales and like nothing to cast. Yeah, it's just weird for sure. Yeah, Hammer did just get better with Code, but it's still not a deck I would recommend. What is that? No cards in hand. Out of Gemstone Caverns. Graveyard that. Kind of punished, I guess, for not surveilling or considering first. I think I'll just save the consider for next turn. We had no cards. Probably gonna win this game. A game 3 to play. Scales is just like, when you have like no board besides, Nexus and a Thopter, you just don't top deck very well. Okay, that is the best top deck. So we'll plan to like clean this up with explosives on 0, I think. Not this turn, probably. I'll keep a counterspell. One card in their hand. Countering almost anything. That's more than almost anything. Phantasm Scales. I mean, obviously could never be a thing, right? When you got no cards in your hand, please. I guess you have the Hangerback activation. That's fine. Take your time. I think I'll graveyard this. I wouldn't, hate this draw. Worried about flooding. Okay. Get in for 5, pass turn. Next turn, we probably go Channeler, pick your poison. I imagine they'd sack the Hangerback Walker. They could maybe snuff out that that's my plan, and then we explosives on 0. Draw another spell. Would they ever sacrifice Zabaz now? Expecting explosives, then replay it. So breach explosives on 0, crack it, replay explosives. I was just gonna use the pick your poison to crack the Hangerback next turn, but yeah, maybe. I think the considers were pretty good here too. Which poison will you like today? We do play around it. Attack with the Phantasm. Happy enough with no blocks. Could have done this first. I kind of wanted them to think about maybe blocking or something else, though. Kind of weird, but I'm actually going to keep this on top. And then consider into it, I think. This way next turn I get to just have more mana on a turn where I have explosives and expressive iteration. And I can also, if they don't play into my explosives, which I don't expect them to, I can just get another Surveil land. No, I don't really need this Phantasm to be any bigger than it already is. Under the Abyss. Is Hexdrinker Modern legal? Was it was that a thing when MH1 came out? Yeah, Hexdrinker was a playable modern card. It was a playable modern card. Like, this was before Prismatic Ending, Solitude, Leyline Binding. Most of the removal in the format was like Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, and so once it became pro instance, it was really hard to deal with. But a long time since that's been the case. It was like a good Ranger Captain too to target in some decks. They have to block my Phantasm. I'll keep a Scolding. Most of the good top decks involve being Scolding, I think. $11. we had one that was either like 1919 or 2020 earlier. Not quite the biggest one we've had. John used to play it. Yeah, I think John played it just like as good card. Probably better than the average card here. Azek matchup against Yogg. Better than Murktide, where Phantasm is like significantly better than Murktide. I also, in some ways, like Breach is better than. I don't want this as things. In some ways, Breach is better than Murktide. But overall, I wouldn't say it's like a super good matchup in the same way that like Yawgmoth is very bad against or very very good against Murktide. A lot of the same dynamics. Is there a way Phantasm is better against Yogg than Ragavan? What did I say? Phantasm is better than Yogg against Ragavan. It is so much better. It's unbelievably better. Oh, the Murktide? Yeah, Murktide is better, but like this is like we have Breach over Murktide and we have Phantasm over Ragavan is the formula. And so in some ways Breach is better than Murktide. Phantasm is a lot better than Ragavan. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say is Phantasm better than Murktide? Is Phantasm better than Murktide? The card to compare it to is Ragavan. That's the card we're playing it over. And then when you have Phantasm, I think Breach is better than Murktide. We had both together, and it was just kind of too many creatures. I felt too many like you don't need infinite big dumb beaters. Yeah, with more counters in play than the Scales deck. Phantasm was better than Murktide, there wouldn't be a blue-red Murktide deck. It would just be blue-red Phantasm. Well, I mean, Phantasm is like has been a playable modern card for 2 weeks. You know, it takes time to adjust. You know what I mean? But I do think Phantasm is better than Ragavan, which is so funny to say. That's on the Mold of 6. Third one scales. Maybe we can find a pick your poison. Is Phantasm better enough that you don't mind playing Consider over Preordained? I mean, Consider and Preordained have always been very close. But yeah, that is a downside. It's that, and then you have to play like one more Surveil land than you want to otherwise. Which, to me, I think is worth the trade-off. But it's not, I think, perfectly clear that that's the case, to be fair. Yeah, let's not tap out a Counterspell, like, just... Like, counting their first 2 threats when they have scales in play is pretty important, I feel. And then if they don't play anything, we can go Consider plus Surveil land. I get Breeding Pool if I do have to Counterspell. So they started to pay an X spell here. I'm definitely countering Cauldron, but they started to pay an X spell. Okay, considering into red source would be great, especially with Breach in play. I'm gonna Graveyard Island. It's a little close maybe, but I don't have to. Yeah, I just have to Graveyard Island here. So very punished for having Breeding Pool in the deck, I guess. Let's see if that X spell was Ballista or Hangerback Walker. It was Chalice of the Void, dude. Nice. Pick your poison. Holy shit. What a way to go. Good play. What a gamer. Pick your poison, not the best answer to Chalice. Could maybe end up flying over. If we draw a land... Yeah... Let's get Delirium online. Let's... I guess keep a land on top. Should I think I should actually discard Breach. A bit more likely to be able to double spell next turn. Attack for 5. Could conceivably. It's kind of whack how much the Surveillance enables some strategies. Except for Thoughtbound Phantasm, right? We're all happy that card's playable. They do have a good amount of 1-drops in their deck. 2/2 Ballista. Without a land, which doesn't look like they have a land yet, won't be too scary, really. Looking for an untapped land to go Shredder Shredder. This would be a cool game to win, y'all. Make sure that this Shredder gets the Unholy Heat discard. And then Breach is really not doing much. Breach really can't do much. Yeah, let's discard Breach for a +1 counter, which is crazy with like 5 mana and 14 cards of the yard. Just exchange it for +1 counter. But it's a very relevant +1 counter also. Yeah, not playing Out of War also because we're playing the extra Surveil lands. Pretty relevant here. 3 cards. Need to dodge like exactly Arcbound Ravager, I guess. If they have a land, they could put a counter on Ballista and like kill my Channeler, but Bridge could enable double spell next turn. Yeah. Maybe that is better, huh? With 3 Channeler or 3 Shredders. That probably beats me, because now they get to go 2 pings. They have like 8 pings available here. I guess they can only kill 2 things, but they can kill my 2 best things. But We'll see. We'll see. Oh, they're punting. Right? 10 pings? Oh, wait, no, because they don't have 6, 7, 8, right? I'm counting that they are gonna ping twice with Ballista, then put 2 counters. Oh, I didn't count the damage from the Cauldron. Okay, so now they're going for lethal, I see. So we block here. They can kill one of my creatures on defense. I don't think we have, like, outs either. Like, what could we possibly draw? Because they're just always going to get to kill my Channeler. Yeah, Narrow Thinker 28. Yeah, 2-2 better than 1-1. Don't think there's any way to survive. They should have waited before blockers to activate Cauldron. Yeah, probably. Breach would have been an out. No, right? Like, not enough damage. We'd have one less counter. Breach into what? Breach into Shredder. They would be able to ping me to death. Alright, GG. Chalice, very good against us, huh? Good lesson to learn. Liking the deck, liking Thoughtbound Phantasm. Let me give a little sneak peek of what we're starting with tomorrow. Was thinking we maybe get to it today. But I've been liking this deck a lot off stream.